Hey creeps! In honor of the 15th anniversary of Coraline, I'm going to be making the welcome home cake that the other mother makes for Coraline. The catch is that it's not going to be an actual cake, it's going to be a fake cake. I've seen the fake cake trend all over Pinterest, where you take lightweight spackling and apply it with a piping bag and icing tip to either a jewelry box if you prefer it to be functional, or something that isn't hollowed out on the inside, like a piece of styrofoam if you're in it just for the aesthetics. During Zinnia's screen time, she downloaded the Curious Cat Trail app and left a note saying find the supplies you seek along the cat trail this week. So I guess we're gonna go hunt for supplies along the Curious Cat Trail in downtown Portland, Oregon, because my cat can write notes and download apps without thumbs. Welcome to the channel, the place to come for spooky DIY home and lifestyle content all year long. Let's go make a fake cake. To begin our scavenger hunt, we first went to Pittock Mansion, which is located in the forested West Hills of Portland, Oregon. It was built by Henry Pittock, the owner of the Oregonian, and his wife Georgiana in 1912. They moved into the mansion in 1914 with 8 other members of the family, and unfortunately passed away after living in the mansion for about 4 years. Family continued to live there until 1958, after which the mansion sat empty for about 4 years and was severely damaged by the Columbus Day storm in 1962. Disembodied footsteps are often heard inside the mansion, furniture and decor are moved without explanation, and lights are turned off and on. Some have thought that these unexplained occurrences are Henry, Georgiana, and deceased groundskeepers of the mansion going about their everyday activities. We found the classic cat sculpture around the back of the Pittock Mansion near the skyline viewpoint. Upon further investigation, we found a bottle of Mod Podge behind the platform and of course collected it to be used as a styrofoam and frosting sealer. Before leaving, we made sure to take a moment and marvel at the view. We picked up the scavenger hunt the following day in an effort to avoid the crowds, starting at the other circus cat right along the Willamette River with picturesque views of the Hawthorne Bridge. Here we found a container of lightweight spackling, which I collected to be used as frosting later. After consulting the map, we walked down Salmon Street a little ways and discovered the She Flies With Her Own Wings cat just outside the World Trade Center, Portland. This sculpture was inconspicuous, hiding among some planters on the sidewalk. Upon closer inspection, we found some white flowers hidden behind the platform, vying to be used as cake embellishments. Just a couple blocks northeast, we found the Nightlife cat lingering behind one of the trees. Like the other 3 cats we had located, this one did not disappoint, hiding a package of piping bags and icing tips to help apply the fake frosting on the fake cake. A few blocks west on 5th Avenue, we found the perfect weather for gardening cat outside of a grand-looking office building. Here we found some birthday cake candles, which are the perfect addition to any fake cake project. The journey ended at Pioneer Courthouse Square. Here a nice fellow with an umbrella directed us to the correct corner where the usher cat was located. After being distracted by the sights, we found the sculpture behind Starbucks, which was hiding some acrylic paints in pink, red, and brown. These will be used to paint the cake and color the frosting. Now that we've traveled around Portland, following the Curious Cat Trail to gather supplies, let's see the supplies that we collected, shall we? To start making my faux cake, I got to work sealing my styrofoam cylinder prior to painting. I did this using matte Mod Podge, being sure to apply coverage thoroughly and ideally evenly. I think I applied something like 2 coats, using the blow dryer in between coats to speed up the drying process. When the Mod Podge was still wet on the styrofoam, it almost had an ice cream-like texture, which was interesting. This will be the first of several trivia rounds in this video of Is This Edible? Once the last coat of Mod Podge was dry, I then took a ruler and marked a line 3/4 of an inch down from the top of the cake and 1 3/4 inches up from the bottom of the cake. These lines will be used as a reference for the icing drips on the sides of the cake. I've been a big fan of Leica's films from the beginning, so much so I convinced my husband to move to Portland, Oregon in 2017 so that I could give it my best shot at hopefully landing a job with Leica in their costume fabrication department. Within the first 3 years of living in Portland, I was able to have some amazing opportunities and experiences, like meeting Deborah Cook during a meet and greet that was part of the Animating Life exhibit at the Portland Art Museum. I was able to take a tour of Leica's soundstage after winning a random lottery in the summer of 2019. I landed a phone interview for the textile fabricator position in August of 2019 after sending Leica's recruiters some custom Jones sodas that featured this Coraline doll that I had made some teeny garments for. I did not get this job, but one of the recruiters at Leica took notice of me and asked if I would be interested in being considered for the soft goods prop fabricator position. I was ecstatic to be considered and went in for an in-person interview on my birthday of September 10th, 2019. Since the interview was on my birthday and I felt like it went really well, I thought that I probably got the job. A week later, I was informed that they went with someone else, and I was very disappointed. How was it that I felt like I was a perfect fit to work at Leica but still not chosen for the job? After feeling down for a while, I began to dabble in new creative outlets that fulfilled my reasons for wanting to work at Leica so badly. Reasons like telling stories, collaborating with other creatives, and getting to make things every day were my why, which led me to starting the Britni J DIY blog and later this channel. Don't be intimidated to follow the metaphorical breadcrumbs that are there trying to get you to the next great thing in your life. If I had gotten the job at Leica, there's a lot of opportunities and life experiences that probably would have been delayed or wouldn't have happened. And for this reason, I'm super grateful for how things worked out. In an effort to avoid having waste from the inevitable residue that happens inside a separate container when mixing, I decided to try and mix my spackling and paint together inside the piping bag, which didn't work out super well, so I would definitely recommend to skip this headache and just do it the proper way rather than attempting to cut corners like I did. After a little while of me attempting to do my mixing inside the piping bag, I forfeited the fight and transferred the spackling to an art-only bowl to finish mixing. I was able to reuse that piping bag from that failed mixing attempt, so that was good. I spread the spackling on the cake's top, aiming for even coverage and a flattish surface. I did end up with a few ridges in my frosting, even after going back and forth with the knife several times, but I still like the appearance. Once I had the icing on the top done, I moved on to the frosting drips. This took some trial and error using the paint knife to carefully scrape away any spackling that I wanted to reapply. Looking at my reference image, I noticed there were some designs along the outer edge of the plate that the cake is on, so I thought I would replicate these designs on my cake's cake board. To do this, I divided my cake board into 16 equal slices using a pencil and a transparent ruler. Then I used the fine tip of a Prismacolor marker to color in my designs. I made more pink frosting, trying my best to color match the frosting on the top of the cake to later be used for the icing detail at the cake's base. For this particular icing application, I did need a frosting tip, so I put tip number 18 into the piping bag, cutting the bag's corner to allow the frosting tip to stick out a little past the bag's edge. Then I filled the bag with my mixed frosting and set the bag aside while I stuck my cake to the cake board. Rather than using a glue to stick the cake to the cake board, I decided to try using some spackling, which seems to be adhering pretty well as of the moment. When it came to piping the detail at the bottom of the cake, I just took my time, remembering that I could scrape away any goof-ups that I wasn't thrilled with. The original cake that I'm basing my cake on has Welcome Home piped out on the cake's top. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to freehand this, so I opened my reference image in Illustrator to scale it up to fit a cake with a 6-inch diameter. Once I got my image to the proper dimensions, I used tracing paper to lightly trace the lettering on my iPad, then applied graphite to the backside of my lettering for transferring ease. A lot of my lettering transferred really well from the tracing paper, but I did go and draw in any spots that needed more definition. I then made red frosting for my lettering and used tip number 5 in my piping bag. Truth be told, I did redo my piped lettering a couple times. I found the best way to do this without smudging the red frosting was to take a hairdryer and dry the spackling, at least some, before going in with a paint knife to gently scrape away any problem areas. To do the little white flowers or stars under the candles of the cake, I found this Tim Holtz scrapbooking embellishment that I knew I could cut the flower tops off the stems to decorate the cake. Once the spackling was dried thoroughly, I thought that the texture looked pretty dry for frosting. To resolve this, I took my Mod Podge and applied a sealing coat just to give my frosting that slight shine that is typical of actual frosting. Before gluing the flowers, I just spaced the flowers out around the cake perimeter in a way that looked evenly spaced, then used a hot glue gun to glue each one in place. Allowing the flower glue to cure a little before gluing the candles, I made some minor touch-ups to my brown paint where I had some spackling residue. The final step was to glue the candles on top of each flower, which I wasn't sure how well hot glue would work with wax, but it seemed to work out fine. We'll see how long the candles hold long term. With all the hot gluing finished, I removed the glue strings with some tweezers. Getting to experiment with lightweight spackling was super fun, easy, and had me oddly hungrier than I could have predicted. Let me know in the comments if you plan on doing anything fun to celebrate the 15th anniversary of Coraline, like going to see the re-release in theaters, or if you plan on making your own welcome home fake cake. I am so excited that the next several videos are going to be Halloween specific content, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of the decorating or DIY decor that I'm going to be covering. And thank you, as always, for visiting my creepy craft corner of the internet and for watching till the end. Now let's see those final shots.